Joe, welcome back. Always good to see you.
Thank you, Carl. Happy to be with you.
I know it's always hard to wade into the political calculus when we're trying to talk about the impact of the actual policy itself. But right now, the president has mentioned airlines, PPP, and direct checks. How much of that should investors be thinking about in terms of the scope of potential aid?
Those are the key areas: airlines, small business assistance, direct checks, and of course the schools. The $105 billion that the president and Director Kudlow have mentioned, that's actually $5 billion more than what the Democrats had put forward originally. The economy, what I can tell you, is in a very self-sustaining, self-feeding V-shaped recovery, as I had discussed with you not that long ago. And the bill, if we get it, and I hope we do, but what I really think of it as an insurance policy, would be great. But the economy is entering into a boom, and growth looks great. The employment numbers last week, I know there was some talk they were softer than expected. That's completely not true when you look at the revisions. And things look good, and we'll see what happens on the stimulus stuff.
So even though we've got some on the street, and you know what they're going through because you've been there yourself, bringing down numbers for Q4, not just on GDP, but on consumption, I wonder, at this point, you still believe that a bill would be more of a nice to have than a necessity?
I don't understand why the street's lowering its forecast so much. I mean, if you look at the Atlanta Fed, which is very good, they're widely followed. They had started the third quarter at 12%, and they revised it up now to 35%. And the street has followed a similar profile. So if you look at where people were a few months ago, growth is significantly better. And what I don't understand is why they haven't built in what looks to be a massive inventory rebuilding cycle, which is going to be more jobs, more income, and really good high-paying jobs, such as manufacturing, which last month generated 66,000 jobs. And when we look at all the various regional Fed surveys and future production plans, their highest readings in 2 years. I don't understand why the street is so pessimistic. I mean, maybe, I don't know, it doesn't make sense.
Maybe it's because the Fed chair says it would be tragic if stimulus didn't plow ahead.
Look, the Fed has done an excellent job coming up with the various programs and pledging to keep rates low. They are not going to get in the way of this self-feeding business cycle. But just because the Fed chair says it's tragic we don't have it, I disagree with that. If you look at most of the major indicators, they are actually back above their pre-coronavirus readings. Home sales, auto production, auto sales, the various ISMs. They've massively recovered. We would like more stimulus, Carl, if we get it. But to say it would be tragic if basically, it would be tragic for the people, yes, who need money, no question. But in terms of the broader economic trends, we are doing extraordinarily well, and we're way ahead of schedule. Even if you look at the Fed's own forecast from where they were in June and where they saw unemployment, we're about a year ahead of schedule.
Joe, it's Sarah. Have you not seen the jobless claims numbers? Another 840,000 Americans filed for unemployment claims last week. We've now seen 29 weeks, which is above the peak. The worst it got for the financial crisis recession was 695,000 claims.
Also, the unemployment rate got below 8%, much faster than it did under the previous administration. In record time, it took a few months, it took over 2 years in the last administration. Of course, I've seen the claims numbers, and we've said, and Larry has said, Kudlow, many times, that there's a lot of hardship and heartbreak in these data. There's no question about that. And the president, through his creativity and leadership, did a federal plus-up on unemployment insurance, eviction moratorium, student loan assistance, payroll tax deferral. I mean, he's basically done everything he possibly can. The Republicans had started at $1 trillion on the stimulus. They went up to 1.6. We've agreed on airlines, schools, PPP, excuse me. But look, we're negotiating in good faith. If the Democrats don't meet us, then I can't help you on that. But what I can tell you is the economy is a lot better than people thought. Even on Friday, the street was at 8.2 on unemployment. It's 7.3. So, I mean, yes, we know claims are high. They're coming down. The continuing claim numbers are coming down. There's more work that needs to be done. But the fact is the economy, if you look at where we are and where official forecasts were as recently as a couple of months ago, we are way ahead of schedule. That's not being reported. And it's too bad because we're making great strides.
It's being reported, Joe. I think the concern is that a lot of it has to do with the fact that there were trillions of dollars in stimulus to the administration and Congress's credit that came to help bridge us through this pandemic, and that is wearing off.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.